This video will explain the two-chunk rule. The two-chunk rule cannot be found anywhere in your textbook. It's a rule that was formulated by a former logic professor of mine, Jim Schofield. So the two-chunk rule says, once more than one logical connective symbol. So remember, negations are not connectives in that they don't connect statements together. You can't write P-Q. So what we're talking about when we're talking about the logical connective symbols, we're talking about the ampersand, the wedge, the arrow, and the double arrow. Okay, so once more than one logical connective symbol is necessary to translate a statement. There must be punctuation that identifies the major operator of a symbolic statement. So what the punctuation does is it separates things into two chunks. And so what's in between those two chunks, that will be the major operator. So in addition, there cannot be any part of a statement in symbols that contains more than two statements or chunks of statements without punctuation. So if we have, let's say we have two formulas inside of parentheses on either side of, say, an arrow. If one of those, if anything inside those parentheses also needs to follow the two-chunk rule. Basically, that's what that last sentence is saying. Okay, so whenever a logical statement contains more than two simple statements, punctuation must be used to translate it, and there must be a major operator which connects all of the remaining symbols in the translation. That's, in essence, the two-chunk rule. So our conventions for punctuation will be, at the first level, the first time we need punctuation, we will use parentheses. The second level will be square brackets. So if we need more than one set of punctuation marks in order to correctly separate everything so that everything follows the two-chunk rule, we'll use the square brackets. If we need more punctuation beyond that, we'll use braces. These all mean exactly the same thing. They just separate things into chunks. The reason for the different levels is it just makes it more readable. If you have, like if it was all parentheses, it would be hard to tell where one starts and the other leaves off. So mixing the symbols makes it really easy. And if we need even more than the third level, which will be rare, but if we do, we can go back to parentheses if we need a fourth set of punctuation marks. Okay, so here are some examples of formulas that require punctuation. So if we have the formula P arrow Q arrow R with no punctuation, that's bad because we can't tell what's the major operator at this point. There's two arrows and neither one seems to be the major operator. And you can see it breaks the two-chunk rule because we've got three chunks. We've got the P chunk, the Q chunk, and the R chunk. So we need punctuation in that sentence in order for it to be syntactically correct. So we can either chunk together the P and the Q, so do parenthesis P arrow Q close parenthesis arrow R, or we could chunk the Q and the R together and say P arrow open paren Q arrow R close paren. Either of those is a syntactically correct sentence or formula in our language. As you can see, there's two chunks on each one. In the one where P arrow Q are chunked together, well, that's one chunk, and then R is the other. And then the major operator is the second arrow in that case. Whereas in the third formula, where we've chunked Q arrow R together, we have two chunks. One chunk is the P, and the other chunk is the Q arrow R. And in this case, the major operator is the first arrow from the left.